What's up, guys? Kingu here, and today Kingu is playing ATS Trekmush. I got a lot of feedback on the first couple of episodes, specifically size of the screen, size of the font, so I'm going to try a little bit different, up the font size here, and we're going to see what we can get out of this. So keep the feedback coming, I appreciate it, and we'll go from there. So, last time we left off, we had just done a simple commodity trade. I think we're going to continue along that path. One of the things that I didn't cover last episode is subspace channels. There's a number of subspace channels for every organization. You know, there are, well, you can see here just this list alone, there's a good 25 that just have subspace on the name of them. Those ones are varied. The big ones, when you're in the Federation, you want to belong to Subspace UFP, which we do, and probably the UFP bots as well. I'm not going to join that just because it's a little spammy. You guys will get the picture of that later on. We're already on all the rest of the general channels, the other subspace channels. So we're going to go with that. We're going to go over a little bit more detail on the economy trade that we did last time. We'll do another one, I think, and you guys can see kind of how it works, and then we'll look at maybe grabbing a mission. There's the econ cycle here in about an hour and a half, hour and 10 minutes, so we may or may not be able to get that one. So you're probably asking, what is an economy cycle? An economy cycle is when the game processes all the economic variables, generates new missions, generates updates on further updates on prices on commodities. Commodity prices change for every trade, so you can't just sort of, that trade we did last time where we made 2,000 some odd credits, if we go and buy from Earth again the toys that we bought last time, I think it was toys, you would see that the price went up, and then when we sold, you'd see the price went down. Supply and demand, it's fairly simple. So you have to be wary when trading commodities that there's a diminishing returns. There's a point where you will no longer make a profit because prices will go up as you purchase and prices will go down as you sell. That makes sense? So we are on Mars. And what's nice about the Federation is they've got a very large cluster of planets all within that same, you know, within a couple of parsecs. It's pretty close. Earth, Andor, Tellar, Vulcan, Mars, Alpha Centauri, and Lunaterra, which is the moon. But really, if you want to just look at Andor, Tellar, Vulcan, Mars, Alpha Centauri, and Earth, those are your good, probably your 6 good planets that you can definitely get some good trading on. So it's nice. You can really run the gambit of where you want to do here. So we will look again, QE out, Mars. What are Mars's missions? They're all fairly distant. Lily-Yo in the Delta Quadrant. A lot of reds, a couple of reds, a couple of yellows. Nothing great that we want to, well, one that's already been burnt. Nothing great we want to run mission-wise yet. And again, in the beginning, we only have a 2 cargo ship. So it's not something we're going to probably do a lot of cargo running, that is. More than likely, we'll be doing other things. So commodities, that's not to say that you can't run cargo and make good money doing cargo. QE top is a really cool command. I think we covered it last time, but I'm going to go over it again. That shows you the top 10 missions based on the X number of cargo you put in. So if I put in 10, here are the top 10 missions for 10 cargo. And you can see over here on the right, these are all 10 by 48, 10 by 46. That's the cargo amount, 10 by 49, 10 by 11. So that's 11 or 10 commodity of 11, or 10 items of 11 commodity. So you can see QE top is a great way to do it. Right now I'm in my Danube, my runabout, so QE top 2 is the best I could do. So these are the missions that have the highest payout. And if you look, we ran 1 cargo item for 2,000. If we had a Danube, we could have run 2. So that would have been 4,000 credits. I mean, you can make 35,000 credits here if we were to go from Gerardo, which is in Bajor, to Norenda. You know, you can make some really good money here. that isn't to say that you can't make good money running commodities, especially when they're close. So again, well, let's look at running some commodities here. Help pad, pad help rather, pad help QE. Let's look at some of the QE missions again. We're going to compare market and market. So QE com Mars equals Earth again. That's where we ran the last time. That's where we run it this time. So we could bring some video equipment. None of this is great. You can see, you know, we've been losing money after the first couple of top 2 or 3 trades. So that's clearly not worth it. That's clearly not something we want to run. Let's run QE Mars, com Mars to Andor. Andor, if I can spell. Spices. So spices is a good one. This is another good one to learn. Actually, let's get the commodity listing and I'll show you. This is a really good trick if you want to trade commodities. Market. So we want to get a listing of all the commodities. Okay. At mark.com list, let's just do Mars. This lists everything that's selling on Mars right now. And you can see importing yes, exporting yes, and manufacturing no. We don't have any manufacturing in the game right now. So one thing you guys may notice when we are looking at some of these commodities, let's go back and run that same Mars to Andor one, is look at the ratios. Here, audio equipment. Well, you want a lower ratio, obviously you don't want a higher ratio. But so tools is a perfect example here. It's buying at a lower ratio and selling not at so much of a higher ratio. Well, there's not a great example here, but what I was trying to get at is market commodity prices. If we look back here at our master list, you can see that audio equipment sells, you know, 26,000. That's right around where 1.0 would be right around where it needs to be, what it averages at. So 26,000 is a good number. Antiques, 37,000. Magnetic monopoles, 32,000. These are your higher priced commodities. So those are the ones, if you're going to trade commodities, you probably want to run. You're going to buy fewer commodities in the beginning. You're going to need more money, but you're going to have larger, you know, assuming that you're going to get 5% or 10% per trade, whatever your assumption is, you're going to make more money on 32,000 than you are going to make on 6,000. Does that make sense? So generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, you want to, once you've got some cash, you want to try to look for those commodity trades in various markets that are high dollar markets or high dollar commodities. 48 is a good one. Again, audio equipment. Again, magnetic monopoles, 41. You know, crystals, 38. There's a number of them. You'll start to get the hang of it, but you'll probably want to, if you're going to have to choose, go, you know, 20,000 and over. Those are good dollar amounts if you want to focus. Here we found spices, running 2 things of spices to Andor is good. Let's see. Let's look at. Let's say we do that. Let's say we're going to run two volumes of spices from Mars to Andor. Okay. So let's queue it up. This is a good example of how you can use the mission queuing list. So QE commodity. We're going to 2 times 30, 2 of 30 from Mars to Andor. Okay. So we'll look at our pad. We've got our mission set here. And you're going to notice again there's some weird brackets here. Again, I messed with my fonts. You know, I don't have it perfect yet, but I wanted to get another couple missions set up for you guys. A couple episodes queued up for you guys, and we'll keep tweaking with the displays and see if we can't make it better. So now we've got a plan. We're going to go from Mars, where we're at now, to Andor. But when I was telling you guys earlier, there's a way you can queue up multiple missions and really sort of plan out a good chunk of your time if you want to. So that's what we're going to do next. So we're assuming that we're on Andor. What do we want to do from Andor? No missions we can really run from Andor. But what if we want to go Andor to Earth? Magnetic monopoles. We could run some magnetic monopoles. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have the cash to do that, which is fine. What if we wanted to run back to Mars? Nothing stellar. What if we wanted to run to Tellar? Explosives isn't bad, yeah. Or polymers. What if we wanted to run to Alpha Centauri? Yeah, cereals. So let's do cereals. Let's do cereals. QE-Com 2x25 from Andor to Alpha Centauri. Look pad. So now you can see we've got a mission. Action 1 is to pick up at Mars, deliver at Andor is number 2. Number 3 is to pick up at Andor, and number 4 is to deliver to Alpha Centauri. Perfect. Now the question is, are we going to have enough cash to do all this? Probably not. Probably not. What were we saying again? We were going to QE-Com Mars, Andor. If I could type today. What did I do? QE-Com Mars equals Andor. So it's, yeah, more running spices is more money than we have. So perfect example again of how you can adjust your mission. So we go, oops, we made a mistake. Action 1 and Action 2 we cannot perform because we don't have the money to pick up, nor will we have the items to deliver. Okay, cool. So let's go back to pad help QE. So we want to first take advantage of the delete process, right? Right, QE del right here. That removes a mission from your planner. So let pad QE del 1. Now we only have a deliver to Andor, and we're going to delete the deliver. So now you're going to say, wait, now our mission says we got to go to Andor and Alpha Centauri, but why would we do that? We're on Mars. We know we can make some money from Mars to Andor. That would be a mistake. Always, 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 if you're going to fly around, run a commodity to a planet. Never run with a cargo empty if you're trying to make money, at least. That's a mistake. It's a big mistake. So again, we need to plan a trip from Mars to Andor. So we do have enough money to run simulators. QE-Com 1x52. We only have enough for 1. From Mars to Andor. Okay. Now they're in the wrong order. Now what do we do? Pad help QE again. We can M order. We can move the order of things here. Okay, so we're going to QE M order. We want to move our number 3 stop to the number 1, right? And we want to run our number 4 stop to the number 2. So now pick up in Mars, deliver to Andor, pick up in Andor, deliver to Alpha Centauri. Perfect. QE process. We've loaded some simulators to the glorified, and we now head to Andor. How much cash do we have? Barely anything. But again, perfect. Embark SS glorified. Disconnect. Cons. So now I'm going to go over some of the space commands that I kind of breezed over the last time, in just highlighting you know, the quick trade that we did last time. So first things first, Captain's console is locked, as you can see here. How do we unlock it? Help here. We want to sec console. These are your security commands. You need to be level 4 to do it, and we are level 4. We want to unlock the console, right? You can do sec cons minus all. You could do the name of the console. You could just do here. That'll unlock them. Okay? We've now unlocked the console. Man and unman, fairly familiar. You man the console, you unman the console. You've manned it. We will go to mode engineering, and we will activate systems. Act sys. That activates your systems. So we're now turned on. We're not powered up, we're turned on. We went over this last time, but let's check it again. Help 0. Here are your engineering commands. Whenever you go into a mode on a console, I'm in engineering mode now. I could go to tactical mode, and I could do help 0. And there's only 0 works because there's only one console in here. If you have multiple console numbers or yet another 0 in the name of a room somewhere, you may need to actually type out the word captain's console. But in this case, 0 works for us. And you can see here is tactical mode, commands. So you can see the list of the commands. It doesn't give you a real in-depth explanation of them all, but the wiki has a lot of information on there for that. In our case, we're going to be okay to just breeze over some of the basics here. So we're going to go to engineering mode as we did last time. Preset list. Again, we've got all of the presets for the commands. And I think I breezed over this last time, but you've got everything -C, -E, -I, -M, and -S. C is for cruising mode, E is for emergency mode, emergency power, basically, like it gives you a little bit faster speeds, that sort of a thing. Or E warp, I guess it is. Actually, you know what? Let's not cover that because I'm not 100% sure what all of those letters mean, to be frank. I believe, it depends on what mode you've got here. And again, we've got quite a few. And there's tanks, there's stealths, there's scouts. I know I is impulse. I know R is repair. I know E is for like E warp, rather, for emergency warp speeds. I is for impulse speeds. C, I forget what C is for now. Let's see, preset to alloc, battle, C. Let's look at the power. So that you see a bunch of stuff fly by when that happens. What does the preset do? It allocates power to helm tactical operations and then breaks down your helm power into movement, into shields. It breaks down your tactical power into weapons, into missiles, and the electronic warfare, the electronic countermeasures, and the electronic countermeasures. A C must be for cloak because it puts all your power in ECCM, which is your electronic countermeasure. That's for hiding. So yeah, I'm going to say that, and it doesn't put any puts power in beams though. Probably cruise. You know what? I'm going to find out for you, and I will let you guys know about that because I honestly do not remember. It's been way too long since I played. For what we're doing right now, actually, repair. We can just go like to a simple repair mode. A lot of times you want to run when you're trading in repair mode so that you can overtax your engines and then have the power to repair them. Makes sense. We're going to go to our helm mode now because engineering will let you power up the ship, allocate power to various systems, and even tune it, truth be told. Tune. So this is a good place probably to cover tuning. On our character sheet, we didn't put a lot of points into anything. Engineering, we put 1 point into. Combat, what is it? Car help. Okay, help at combat. How about that? There you go. Car help. No. ATTR. Car cons list. That's what it is. Lists our consoles. So we basically got 1 point at every console. We're going to try tuning here. So we're in mode engineering, and you're going to type tune whatever you want to tune, and it'll warn you. Look, in engineering, you can only tune your main, your aux, your warp, and your impulse. So let's tune main. We don't have enough skill because I believe you have to have a skill over 5 to tune. I'm going to go ahead and buy some points in engineering. Car cons buy engineering. That's 2 now. 3, 4, 5. Yep. See. So you see what we just did there? Tunings. Let's see what we just did there. We gave ourselves a 5.8% bonus to our main reactors. So unman, that resets the tunings. Man 0, mode engineering, stat. Okay, let's look at this. Let's give a little bit more in-depth detail here to this command. So our mains are putting out 40 gigawatts of power. Okay, tune main. We've tuned it 5.8% stat. We're now getting 42 gigawatts of power. 2 gigawatts of power may not be much, but when you factor in other things, that it helps. It helps quite a bit. We can also tune auxiliary, and again that gives us another 0.1%. Again, not a ton. What else can we do? We can do warp and impulse. So you can see right now our warp drives will go and our impulse drives will go. Our warp will go 14.1, 16.2, and that's a cruising, that's emergency, and that's max. That's what the M was for, by the way, max. Or anyways, yeah, we don't want to get too off topic here. I can ramble on for days. So yeah, warp 14.1, 16.2, 18.3. So let's tune our warp. 5% on our warp drive gives us 14.2 on the warp drive. So that adds up quite a bit. You know, I know people can put a ton of points in engineering, and when you have a 2-hour trip, you know, half a warp factor, you know, can drop 20-30 minutes. So those are big steps that make a big difference. And again, we will tune impulse, and you can see we're now impulse 25, now we're on 29, 50 is 52, 75 is 76. So again, not a ton, but enough to make a difference. Okay. I'm going to type in the word power, list our power allocations. I think we're ready to go. Let's go back to Helm. Again, look at our tunings. Now we're in Helms mode, and what do we need to do? We want to take off. SR gives you your sensor report. You can send report. SR is the short version for people who've been doing it for a long time. And wait a minute, you're going to say, Kingu, why don't you see the names of those ships? Good question. I haven't turned my sensors on yet. Sensors, you know, we're at 0 PC, 0 SU. We're right on top of these ships. But without sensors, we can only tell what 2 of them are. One's a Galaxy, one's a Ptolemy. We're going to turn our LRS online. LRS sensors are our long-range sensors online. And now we can tell what those are. SRS sensors are your short-range sensors. They would actually tell you even more detail. And then you may wonder what some of the rest of this stuff here is at the sensor report. Resolution is 100. This number, when it's below 50, won't tell you the name of the ship. And when it's below 25, as you can see up here, below 25 won't tell you the class of the ship. 25 is where you need for class. Anything between 25 and 50 is class. Anything 50 and above, you'll know the name of the ship. Bearings, you know, that's the direction it's facing you. The heading, that's the direction it's heading. This is your arc, their arc, what it's facing. You know, we're both facing our forwards, meaning we're face to face. C and D connected and docked. And we'll go over some of the flags down the road too. I think we're at this point, we are ready to take off. Let's verify where we're going again. We are going to Andor. Let's launch. And there you go. There's the planets we talked about before. Andor, Tellar, Vulcan, Earth, Mars, Alpha Centauri. Those are your big markets that make it very easy to trade in this area. So we're going to lay in Andor, or enter Andor. Enter 1, intercept 1. You can also lay in coordinates 0, 0, 0. That would be the center of the galaxy. That's not where we want to go. Enter 1, and we want to engage our course. We'll let our ship turn around and face where it's going. Looks like it already is. And we're going to autopilot on, auto P on. That turns on your autopilot, and then we're going to warp cruise. See, here was where I was talking about. What allocation did we go? Let me just double check what allocation I did, what preset allocation I did. Repair I, yes. Repair I, perfect. Repair I gives us power to impulse while repairing, but not enough power for faster. It gives us sufficient power to do maximum impulses, or good impulses, but not a lot of power for warp. As you can see, our max speed is warp 6, which at this point is going to take us 9 minutes to get there. We're going to want to mode back to engineering, preset list. We're going to preset alloc repair C. Repair E. It helps if I type the right thing. Preset alloc repair C. Perfect. Mode helm. Warp cruise. See? Now we can go our warp cruise. C is for cruising. For cruising around the galaxy. Now you can see we went from 9 minutes to 32 seconds. Helps to pay attention and know what you're doing. That's what I say. And you also may have noticed we are in our Danube. I had the ship reclassed because obviously it's a little bit easier with 2 cargo than it is for 1, and that's probably the route I would recommend for someone wanting to do cargo. Periapses are better fighters, obviously, but you know, for what we're doing here, trying to run some cargo around and get a quick gist of the game, this is a good way to do it. While we wait, now we dropped out of warp, and now we're going 2 minutes left for ETA. There are ways you can get closer to those planets, and we're going to cover those later on, where you can drop out of warp a lot closer to a planet. There's a command called slew, which allows you to slew your autopiloting. We'll cover that a little bit later when we get going a little bit more in trading. For now, I'm not going to worry about it too much. What was I just about to do? Merits. You can see we have a merit today. We've earned 1 merit point. That's for logging in. You can actually earn additional merit points for doing trades. If you do a certain number of trades a day, you can get put into a random sort of a pseudo drawing. So earn some additional merits that way, and again, other people can give us merits. You can also earn merits for combat. I believe if you kill a certain number of ships, you'll get entered into that pool as well. So, you know, let's say 3 legitimately a day. Excuse me. Maybe more if you wanted to really push it. By buying them, you could earn 1,000,000 credits a day and buy another one that way. Right now, we're not going to worry about anything. We need 5 merits to increase a rank so we could buy a ship to upgrade our ship. So we're not going to worry about doing any of that for now. Fly into port, and once we land on Andor, we'll unload, and then we'll quickly head off to Alpha Centauri. We'll unload, reload, and quickly head off to Alpha Centauri. One of the things you may have noticed that we didn't fix was the pickup and delivery of 2 commodities from Andor to Alpha Centauri. We probably won't have the money for that. So let's see what happens if you don't have the money and you still try to process a trade. We're there. We can land 1. List bays, connect spaceport. We're going to disembark. We're going to head to the town square after we're cleared, and we'll go to the marketplace. QE process. Boom, unloaded. Made our half an experience point. QE process. We do not have enough cash. And now look what happened. It processed our mission to buy, but we didn't have enough money to buy. So we need to delete that one again, because obviously we didn't run. We ran out of cash. We didn't have enough money. So we need to just do 1. So QECOM, where we are, Andor equals Alpha Centauri. QECOM 1 by 25 from Andor to Alpha Centauri. QE process. Boom, loaded them up. Get that cereal on my boat. We're getting out of here. Embark SS. Disconnect. You can see I'm shortcutting a lot of stuff here, because the game's smart enough to figure out when you're when I'm embarking SS glorified, or if I just have SS because there's no other ships there, it's easy enough to figure out. So that's pretty cool. Man 0 mode fighter. We're going to go fighter mode. Tunings. They are gone. Every time you disembark, every time you unman a console, actually, the tunings change. That was done, unfortunately, because there's gear in the game that allows your stats to change, so people were using the gear, passing it around to sort of maximize the abilities of everybody, so we had to sort of shortcut that. So we're going to launch, we're going to Alpha Centauri, look pad, yep, we want to intercept number 7, engage, warp cruise, autopilot on. Now you notice that my speed is lower than the normal 14.1. Why is that? Because when the tunings drop, sort of everything has to be kind of reset. So it's best to just rerun your alloc. Preset alloc, repair, C, warp cruise. See? So that's one of the sort of, I don't want to call it bugs, but one of the idiosyncrasies of the game. Unfortunately, that's just one of the things you have to deal with. So we're going to go to warp, and we're going to take a break with this episode. And when we come back, we're going to finish some trades and maybe do a little bit of a long haul run here and see what we find out mission-wise. Until next time, see you guys.